from Joe Naylor. Excuse me, rights holders can only be represented by themselves. Owners, employees, if they are a business, attorneys, or law students working with clinics. Is there any discussion to expanding this to third-party agents, such as Image Rights, which is his company? We serve as an agent when registering their works, and we try to resolve licensing disputes amiably without escalating to outside law firms to file in the federal courts. We'd like to be able to manage their claims through the CCB as an alternative to sending to our outside counsel, but currently we aren't able to.
Yeah, this is an interesting issue and one that I have not so far focused on, but normally individuals, this is a question about the CCB, and normally individuals can represent themselves or be represented by an attorney, corporations through their employees. I'd need to look at the statute again, but assuming that this is correct, that there is this kind of impediment, happy to discuss it further, to the extent that the statute is written a certain way, changing it at this point, I think is going to be difficult, although I'm sure that once the CCB has been in operation for some time and we do the required report to Congress on how it's working, there could be an opportunity to make changes.
It is an interesting question, given that third parties can register copyright on behalf of the copyright holder. So good question, Joe. Let's go back to the Copyright Claims Board for a minute. It seems that you all have done a lot in the first year. I was actually pleased to hear that there have been over 200 cases that have been brought and reviewed. How has the implementation gone? And are you seeing issues that are popping up, or are there, I'll give you an example. I talked to a photographer recently who was very anti the Copyright Claims Board, and I was surprised. And the reason is they feared that it would limit their ability to take significant copyright issues forward. And I'm not a lawyer, but I told them I did not think that was the case. But I'm curious how you think it's gone and if there have been issues like that one that you've heard.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that before, and I'm curious why someone would think that, because they always have an opportunity to go to federal court. Going to the CCB is just an option. So I'd love to understand more about that. But it's gone remarkably smoothly so far. I mean, the one question was, first of all, this was an incredibly heavy lift to do this quickly. And usually it takes a lot longer to set up an entirely new institution within the government. So, I'm just very pleased that we were able to find a great staff and 3 incredibly experienced litigators who've represented both sides, to the extent there's 2 sides, but both owners and users of copyrighted works, to serve on the board. And we got the IT in place so that it's been functioning without a glitch. So all of that is great. What's happening right now is it's really a lot of internal work being done, because the board has to review claims that are submitted to them to decide whether they're compliant, meaning that they're the kinds of claims that the board can hear. And then they send, if they're not compliant, they give people an opportunity to fix the problems. They give them several opportunities to fix the problems. And then once the claim has been deemed compliant and accepted, then there's a period of a couple of months at least before notice has to be served on the respondent. The claim has to be served. And then the respondent has 60 days to decide whether to respond or opt out. So June to October, it's been June, July, August, 3 or 4 months so far. So we should start seeing more happening pretty soon. So it's a little bit early to draw many conclusions other than the systems being used. The claims are going forward. We haven't heard of any major problems yet, but we're watching very closely. It's a very exciting new experiment.
It seems to be going faster than I would have expected, I must say. The previous example I gave may have to do with this next question, and that is that this process, you said, is a voluntary copyright claims process. And I wonder, I'm only speculating, but I wonder if the photographer thought once she were to bring a claim that she was limited to that process, which has a monetary limitation to it. If an artist is not satisfied with the results of the copyright board, can they then go to court?
There's some ability to get a court review, but only on certain specified grounds. So it is somewhat more limited. So it is true, you have to decide, are you going to be willing to live with what the result will be?